Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Musical lyrical lingo. Every episode a new bingo. Laugh and sing, go with the flow. Tune in as the memories grow.
Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
And LJ, today and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us.
I nearly forgot to say my own name there.
Did you?
Yeah.
What name were you going to say?
No, I just was going to, we're your hosts. Tim, it's me. It's Tim, I'm here.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there.
I think sometimes it's like now in the back of your brain where you don't really even need to think. Do you remember when we used to have to rehearse it now?
Well, I know, sure, after a whole break, after Christmas, came back and I didn't even think twice about practicing it. And it was only once we had done it in the first recording I went, oh, we didn't actually practice that. That could have gone horribly wrong.
See, we're such pros now.
I know, because we're still 3 years in and we're still not editing any of our episodes. So what you hear is what you get.
I mean, people love it. I mean, we've blown up in Germany for some reason.
Have
Frankfurt,
we?
yeah, Frankfurt loves us.
No.
Frankfurt is now the #1 place every time we have an episode.
But I don't think I have any friends living in Germany at the moment.
Right?
Do you?
No.
Well,
doesn't have to be
thank you.
friends.
No, but you know, it would make more sense, wouldn't it? If you're like, oh yes, such and such is living in Germany. Do you know what I mean? It's just,
We
you know.
get listens because they're our friends.
No, but I mean, we have a lot of friends that listen, but we have a
Yes.
lot of new friends that listen now too because they enjoy the pod.
Yeah.
So, I mean, thank you very much. We really appreciate it that you're still here. But I'm just saying an extra thank you to our new friends in
Okay.
Frankfurt.
Yeah, Frankfurt.
Love that.
I know.
Very good.
Yep.
That makes me all warm inside,
Does it?
knowing that we're still getting new listeners all this time. I
All
mean,
the
we
time.
talk the biggest pile of nonsense most of the time.
But people love it. People love it. And they love us.
And honestly, that last episode, it took the first half an hour for me to engage my brain and my mouth because I was I feel like I'm a bit more with it this week.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad.
Just in time for our theatre news.
Oh, what have we
Yeah.
got for us?
It's a couple of interesting wee bits and pieces. There's lots of excitement going on at the moment with new stuff and castings and all that, and it's all very exciting.
Yeah.
Obviously, the friends of the pod will know, and you'll know I am a big fan of Sarah Bareilles.
You are. You are.
And I have waited and waited and waited for this because obviously her last musical, Waitress, was such a huge hit. She did a brilliant job at it. So a pre-Broadway run is now being set for The Interestings, the musical adaptation of Meg
Don't know.
Wolitzer's novel that will have its world premiere in California's Berkeley Repertoire Theatre during their 2026 and 27 season. Previews for it will begin in January the 31st, 2027, ahead of a February opening.
Yeah.
Okay, so the musical is going to feature a score by the Tony nominee Sarah Bareilles.
Yeah. A lot
So
of
this will
pressure, I
be
feel.
her second outing writing
Yeah.
for musical theatre. A book co-written by Wurlitzer and Tony nominee Sarah Ruhl. Also newly announced, which I think is really quite exciting for it, is that the musical is going to be directed by Tony Award winner Michael Arden.
Oh,
And
okay.
I think I rate him as a director. So The Interestings concern 6 friends who bond over their shared dream of leading creative lives. Following their lives from childhood to decades later, the show explores friendship, love, envy, class, art, money, and power, and how it can all shift and tilt precipitously
I don't know
over
what
the
word
course
is.
of a life.
Okay, so similar to Sometimes
Company?
Not
No.
Company. The one, Why have I forgotten the name?
Is that what's in the show? Oh no, that was just you singing. I thought you were doing a lyric from the. Oh,
Friends.
oh, merrily
We
merry
roll
roll
along.
along. Okay, yeah, fair. Okay, yeah, maybe. So, but I'm just excited to see what she gives us.
Yeah.
Round
Yeah, me
round
too.
2.
Me too. I wonder
she
will there
also-
be any like 1 or 2 tracks released before?
I hope so.
Because it's, you know,
Yeah, she hasn't released anything for a long time because
Yeah.
even herself. Come on, Sarah, where's your new album?
yeah. So I wonder
You know,
will
us
she maybe
Bareilles fans are gagging for some new material.
It would be a good marketing move, but whether or not she does it. Do you know
We'll
what
find out. It's also still quite far away, the
I know.
31st of January 2027. I'm like, oh, come on, Sarah. But good things are worth
I mean?
waiting
Yeah,
for, right?
absolutely. Always, always, always.
The last 5 years is going
Yes.
transatlantic.
I mean, what's going on there with that
Yeah,
musical?
so it was previously announced that Ben Platt and Rachel Ziegler, she has well and truly been bitten by the musical bug, hasn't she?
Yep.
They're going to be taking on a concert staging of Jason Robert Brown's last 5 years.
Yep.
He is going to be
Accompanying it.
yeah, which in itself is really very exciting.
Yeah, I think so. Like,
Yeah, so it had been announced that the concert would be they're doing this concert to mark the show's 25th
Yeah.
anniversary, and it had previously been announced that it would have a London Palladium performances from the March the 24th to March the 29th, but after that it's now going transatlantic
Yeah.
because they're going to be doing the concert presentation at the Hollywood Bowl on
That's
Friday
right.
the 3rd of April, and then Radio City Music Hall April 6th and 7th. That's really exciting.
it is seeing his last Super Bowl was it? No, what did you say that was? No, it wasn't Super Bowl. You just said was it Super Bowl?
The Hollywood Bowl.
The Hollywood
Where
Bowl
they did Jesus Christ
was
Superstar.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
So then to do last 5 years, it feels like a
But
bit.
I don't know if it's like the
Oh, it's the
Hollywood
theme.
Bowl's musical. You know the way they do a musical every
Oh,
year. I think it's just a venue that they're going to take this concert to
Okay, gotcha.
because it's only
Sorry.
there for one night.
I know,
it's
but
only
so
there.
was,
Is it
oh
not?
no, was it a couple of nights?
Yeah, because remember Josh Gad got sick and then they had to bring in Jason Stamos. Is it Jason
Yeah.
Stamos?
No,
And
Jason Stamos. Oh
yeah,
yes.
And then Josh Gad made it back for the last performance.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So there you
sorry,
go.
yes.
No,
Yeah.
all good. Some exciting casting news. Jinx Monsoon
Yes.
is to glitter as Judy Garland in End of the Rainbow. So the
Yeah.
Drag Race favourite, Jinx Monsoon, who has musical chops, I have to say.
Audrey was amazing.
Yeah, Audrey was brilliant. The videos that I saw of them in Parts of Penzance as well, the recent Broadway
Oh,
revival
I
of
didn't see
that.
anything
Yeah,
there,
they played Ruth, was brilliant too. And I think they've done Madame Morton in Chicago too, on Broadway.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're going to be starring as Judy Garland in London's revival of Peter Quilter's End of the Rainbow. The revival will be in the Soho Theatre from the 15th of May to the 21st of June. Set in London in 1968, the play follows Garland as she prepares for a series of concerts at the Talk of the Town while facing personal and professional challenges.
Yeah.
It includes some of Garland's most well-known songs and depicts the final chapter of her life. And
Yeah.
anybody who is a Drag Race fan will know that for
Snatch Game.
Snatch Game, Jinx Monsoon did do a rather memorable
Yeah.
Judy Garland. So
Yeah.
it's lovely to see that she's...
It is, and I think pictures were actually released
Yes,
this week,
that's
were
right.
they? You know, some preview.
Yeah, absolutely, and they look great. Other time of the recording, really fresh casting news. So there's going to be a new revival of Sweeney Todd, your favourite, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. And it was previously announced that Raman Karimloo will take on the role of the tortured barber. This is part of the Birmingham Reps Whopper new season. Like, the stuff that is going to Birmingham Rep.
I feel like this is like going
exciting.
to be the area to watch over the next couple of years. Do you
Yeah.
not think so? Like, as in, like,
100%. The number of
it's
times
now
we've
established it.
mentioned it on the pod
Yeah.
over the last wee while, when we wouldn't have mentioned it before, it's just Whopper after Whopper after Whopper. Another Whopper is the person who is going to be joining Ramen as Mrs. Lovett, and that's Meow Meow.
We're like, what?
Do you know Meow? Are you a fan of Meow
really.
Meow?
No.
Oh, she's like proper class, cabaret singer, performer. Amazing. You should listen to some of her albums. She is proper class, and she is going to be
I just seen the buzz around it.
amazing.
So I was like, oh, this must be a good casting choice.
Yeah, but also so different.
Yeah.
I think even Ramen as the barber, Sweeney
suppose,
Todd, isn't what you would expect for him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Still
I think it's great.
Theater class, but yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, and Billy Elliot is returning.
I know they haven't called me yet.
No, still haven't called you.
I've got out my ballet shoes. I've dusted them off on my tap shoes and stuff as well.
That's good. And this week then The Madness of King George. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, it was also announced that it's coming. So I don't really know how that's going to work, but
See,
I
I didn't
love
pick up
whenever,
on that one because I didn't watch the Game
I know,
of
but it
Thrones.
does interest me whenever there's just random musicals put out left, right, and centre.
I watched somebody had done a really funny video recently about stop making musicals of films, like retro films.
Oh yeah. Oh no, there's been another film that's just been announced as it's going to be a musical, and I was like, do we need to do that? I'm not sure we do.
I kind of feel a bit overwhelmed that most of the new musicals recently have been like adaptations of films. Do you know what I mean? Give it a rest for a while.
Yeah. Let's bring back something good like Betty Blue Eyes. Anyway.
Okay. Listen, this week is our first of our new kind of like episodes. Our spotlight, our Musical Lyrical Lingo spotlight episodes where we shine a spotlight and a bit more detail on something particularly interesting in the world of musical theatre, and it could be anything.
It could be anything that makes musical theatre.
Musical theatre.
And I think this part or these episodes are really sort of taking it back to what our musical podcast is all about, is the learning and like learning from lyrics or learning from music or learning from books or people or situations and times that maybe that musical was put on or whatever. So,
and it's absolutely worked, Lauren.
Yeah.
Because the person we're going to talk about today, like I've obviously had heard of before. I knew that there was there was a legacy there in musical theatre that was theirs, but the ins and outs I didn't really know much about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
You learn from the pod.
So we're learning, and then hopefully you guys will learn more. And so these episodes, Timothy's very cleverly called them spotlight episodes.
Thank you.
And this week our spotlight is on George Gershwin.
The composer George Gershwin, 1898 to 1937. So George Gershwin was kind of given this title of the father of the American musical.
Yeah, the architect of the American sound.
Yeah.
Sort of what you think an American musical is, he sort of created the DNA for that.
Yeah, and he's linked to big hitters, the likes of Porgy and Best, American in Paris. And we will delve into those more throughout the episode. He was also one of a really strong partnership with his brother Ira. So you know a lot of the time you won't see George without Ira, and
Yeah.
you won't see Ira without George. Now, obviously, they did,
Yeah.
of course, you know, work on their separate projects too, and they themselves were their own, you know,
Yeah.
people. But George, as we've said, was the composer, and Ira was the lyricist
Yeah.
for the work that they worked on together.
So George was like the rhythm, and then his brother Ira was like the lingo. And together, I know,
Oh,
together,
see what you did?
together they sort of showed that musical theatre could be sophisticated,
Yeah,
jazzy, and deeply emotional, but all at the same time.
Yeah.
So they sort of brought lots of elements which were maybe out there. There was a real jazzy sound. Obviously there was a musical theatre or musical sort of sound, but they're the ones that kind of brought it together. And
Yeah.
it was George's tempo and rhythm and everything that made
Yeah.
the American musical what
that's
it is.
it. So George and Ira Gershwin were two halves of the hugely influential and successful songwriting team that dazzled Broadway and Hollywood during the 1920s and 30s. George Gershwin might be considered the father of the American musical, as I've said, and was foundational to musical theatre for bridging jazz, popular song, and classical structures,
That's it.
creating a distinctly American theatrical sound. With his brother Ira, he produced over 20 successful Broadway shows in the 1920s and 30s, while at the same time composing music for films and the concert stage,
Yeah.
not to mention opera, and has created enduring standards.
Yeah.
You know, and I could never understand the musical aspect to George,
Okay.
because I thought he was jazz. Like, I thought he was a jazz composer, or he was a jazz pianist, but
Okay.
the thing is, he was all of those
Yeah.
things, and it was that he brought this new sound to musical theatre that made him so special.
Yeah.
You know?
He was incredibly talented, and I think there's just some people that are put on this earth that are just going to make a difference. So he was originally born Jacob Gershwin with an E
Yeah.
in Brooklyn in 1898 to Russian Jewish immigrants.
That's
But
right.
he was a very talented painter, and he was also extremely talented at tennis and golf.
Yeah.
He made such an impact in his short period of time because he died of a brain tumor at 38.
Yeah.
Like, amazing what he was able to achieve.
Yeah.
And but yeah, definitely.
And it's sad, therefore, because you go, look at what he achieved in his lifetime.
Yeah,
What more
that's it.
will the world never see?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
know?
Gershwin also is said to equal optimism, especially with the likes of songs like I Got Rhythm, which is a good life is found in the way you move through the world, not what you own. So
Yeah.
a lot of their music together, I suppose, just showed that there's always a bright side to life, you know.
Yeah.
Which,
The start of his story is also so endearing, you know. So, like, George lived a boyhood not unusual to
Yeah.
other New York tenants,
Yeah.
you know, which including running around with his friends, roller skating and misbehaving on the streets. Until 1908, he cared nothing about music
Yeah.
at all. Then, as a 10-year-old, he was intrigued upon hearing his friend Maxie, now forgive me for the pronunciations of some of these names, Rosenwig's
I'm not sure.
violin recital.
Okay.
So the sound, apparently, and the way his friend played captivated him. At about the same time, George's parents had bought a piano for his older brother, Ira. To his parents' surprise, though, and to Ira's relief, it was George who spent more time playing it as he continued to enjoy it, you
Yeah.
know. Ira showed early, like, literary talent, enrolling in the City College of New York City in 1912. While happy-go-lucky, George studied the piano with a succession of teachers, including musicians and composers Charles Hambitzer, who introduced him to the works of Chopin, Debussy, and Ravel. Charles Hambitzer took George on at the age of 14 and immediately realized the level of talent he had on his hands.
Yeah.
He once said, I have a new pupil who will make his mark if anyone will. The boy is a genius.
Yeah.
And that's what Habitzer wrote to his sister. George was sent off to concerts and given significant pieces by the great composers to learn for the piano. So Habitzer's efforts certainly paid off, didn't they?
100%. Yeah. So apparently this piano was hoisted through the window of their apartment.
Love
And
it.
as soon as it sat down, like on the ground, then George was straight away at it. But he had been secretly learning playing on his friends. So he had discovered that he had this talent, just kept it very quiet. And then just started to play away. He dropped out of school at 15. Swanee was his very first hit, which was written in 1919. And then Al Johnson heard him play this at a party, and parties are quite big within Gershwin's sort of career. I'll come on to that a bit later. But Al Johnson then recorded it, and he sold for 2 million records of it, which meant by the age of 21, George Gershwin was extremely wealthy.
Yeah, well, that's it. Because at the age of 15, when he dropped out of school, he started showing off his remarkable keyboard skills in New York City's Tin Pin Alley.
That's it. Yeah.
As a demonstration pianist and a song plugger. Do you know what a song plugger was?
No.
So, sometimes also given the name song demonstrator, was an individual who was employed to promote music to musicians, record labels and customers. Song pluggers worked on they worked for a music publishing company, or they sometimes operated independently.
Yeah, and I just love the idea.
At 15.
I know, I love the idea of going down and just playing piano in these Tin Pin Alleys and asking people who are walking past their feedback and saying, what do you think of this? And literally playing music for people that are going to be going out and buying it. And that's probably because he did a lot of work of listening to the public or asking their opinions or playing at parties. Apparently he was the life and soul of a party as long as there was a piano. If he walked into a party and there was no piano, he walked straight back out again.
Yeah.
There would be no George. It was said he loved the attention, but not in a arrogant way. It was just he enjoyed sitting down and playing piano for years and people listening to his...
For people to enjoy.
I think it was that.
But he worked hard.
Yeah.
He worked hard at it because he moved to Paris.
I love this story.
Yeah. Intending to study with Nadia Boulanger, who was a French music teacher, composer and conductor, but she refused him. Afraid that the rigorous classical study would ruin his jazz-influenced style.
Yeah.
So Maurice Ravel, who was a French composer, pianist and conductor, voiced similar objections when Gershwin inquired about studying with him. His early melodies were influenced by ragtime jazz and contemporary popular music, and he impressed the likes of Irving Berlin, composers Jerome Kern and writer P.G. Wodehouse. And impresario Florenz Ziegfeld, who we've talked about on the pod before, and as you've said, Broadway star Al Jolson, who was massive at that time, you know.
Massive. I don't even
massive.
So it was and he moved to France because he wanted respect from classical composers. So he understood that he was technically self-taught and wanted to make sure that he could still learn. He didn't feel like he knew everything. But I love that it was Ravel asked him how much money had he made, and then whenever he told him, Ravel was like, "Well, could you give me lessons?" Because he wasn't making that amount of money. They say that really creating music and writing music was his main love. And though he had many high-profile romances, he did have a 10-year on-off relationship with Kay Swift. He never married, but he did live with Ira and his wife until he died. But I think he was very compassionate and passionate about what music could do and how it could influence others.
Yeah, there's a real sophistication to when you hear Gershwin. You know you're hearing something special and something very different. And even now, at when so many other musical forms or styles have come and gone or been introduced, and like musicals now all sound so different.
Yeah.
There's still a difference that you can't explain to a Gershwin musical.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
100%. Like, it's definitely, there's like a feel to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a sound, it is a feeling. The musical The I Sing, which did win a Pulitzer Prize, it wasn't given to George though, because the committee felt the music wasn't part of the drama. And this was like a little bit of like contention, like a spurning whenever he was alive, because obviously lyricists got it, and book writers got it, but he didn't. But Pulitzer then did end up giving him a posthumous one in 1998, sorry, just to make up for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as well as like that, between him and Ira, they sort of reinvented what was about, and as well with the lyrics, like, you know, so wonderful. Like
Yeah.
that was a completely made up word to explain and show how love makes you reinvent language. So they reinvented lots in their career as well.
But even that Pulitzer prize that you had mentioned about of the I Sing, it transformed the genre of musical theatre by winning that 1932 Pulitzer Prize for Drama. It elevated the status of musicals from light entertainment to respected and serious art forms. So without that, you know...
Yeah, we probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, well, it certainly pushed musicals on a bit, or up a pedestal, shall we say, or... But yeah, so... By late 1910, Gershwin had met like songwriting and musical directing William Daly, and the two collaborated on Broadway, you know, some of his first Broadway musicals like Piccadilly to Broadway in 1920. And For Goodness Sake, that's a very Northern Irish title, isn't it? For Goodness Sake in 1922, and jointly composed and scored for Arnell in 1923. And this was the beginning of a long friendship. Daly was a frequent arranger, orchestrator, and conductor for Gershwin's music, and Gershwin periodically turned to him for musical advice. Having dropped out of college, Ira was working in Turkish baths when George asked for help with the lyrics of a real American folk song, Is a Rag, which I think you'll probably agree is another one of those like Gershwin songs is, you know, notable.
Yes.
And an enduring standard. Do you know what I mean? And that kind of was the start of their relationship together. Ira first works included his 1921 hit Two Little Girls in Blue, but were written under I thought this was interesting, were written under a pseudonym, Arthur Francis, to avoid capitalising on his brother's reputation. However, after resounding success in 1924 of their first musical, Lady Be Good, catapulting Fred and Adele Astaire to stardom, the brothers mainly wrote together. Ira crafted the words to fit with George's melodies. In this way, they produced a string of songs, musicals, and film scores over the next two decades, including musicals OK, K-A-Y, exclamation mark, and Girl Crazy, exclamation mark. They like putting exclamation marks at the end of their... and I didn't realise, but Girl Crazy starred newcomer Ethel Merman.
Yes.
It was one of her first.
Yeah.
However, not everything that they produced was successful. The daring and, for the time, radical, controversial jazz opera Porgy and Bess, written by Du Bois Hayward, did not impress when it opened in 1935. Later, though, it became the first American opera to enter the classical repertoire and remains a firm favourite with audiences to this day. Porgy and Bess has come to be considered as one of the most important American operas of the 20th century.
Yeah, I think it was revolutionary, and
Yeah.
that's probably where it got a little bit of backlash from.
Mm.
It was an all-black cast, which was revolutionary for 1935, but within Porgy and Bess, through the score, Gershwin sort of teaches what was perceived as low culture, like jazz and blues and folk, that's actually high art. So within Porgy and Bess, not just the story, but also within the music, it's all about look for the dignity
Yeah.
and beauty in marginalized communities. And I think that's why, you know, it's still there and it's still really powerful whenever people perform it.
Yeah.
Because it's a mixture of the story, the book, and the music, like kind of brings all that
Yeah.
together.
And it produced one of the world's most famous arias,
Yeah.
Summertime, and introduced new depths to like American musical theatre.
Yeah. Also with American in Paris, Gershwin uses the music and combines that with dance just to tell a story. Like there's
Yeah.
so many parts of American in Paris that there's no words. And
Yeah.
it is the music and the visual storytelling of ballet that
Yeah.
makes you understand what's happening.
And I couldn't understand that when I first saw American in Paris, the musical, but actually American in Paris started out as a tone poem, where it was just a lovely, long, extended piece of like jazzy classical music with no words, and from that, then that was made into the musical. The tone poem American in Paris was inspired by a 1928 trip to Europe when George met composers Joseph Maurice Ravel that we've mentioned, Darius Milhaud, Sergio Prokofiev.
You're doing great.
Francis Poulenc and Franz Lehár. Like I'm gonna have pronounced all of them wrong, but I thought that was interesting that he wrote American in Paris after having spent time with other composers and being inspired by them to then go away and like the music in American in Paris is truly sensational.
It is.
The film American in Paris was then inspired by George's 1928 composition. And then the Gershwin brothers' music has then now been adapted into a stage musical.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Starring our good friend Zoe.
I know. It is said that George Gershwin's songs are like a tuxedo and a little black dress. They will never go out of fashion.
What a lovely quote.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And so true. So true.
So true. So true.
But like look at the work they've done in theatre, like even writing the music for our RKO Pictures film Shall We Dance, again starring Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. A Gershwin score which marries ballet and jazz in a new way runs for over an hour, and it took Gershwin several months to compose and orchestrate that, you know. Damsel in Distress is another one. The Golden Follies, spelled Goldwyn. You know, it goes on and on and on, as do his jazz standards, you know. They all laugh, let's call the whole thing off. They can't take that away from me, from Shall We Dance. Nice work if you can get it. A Foggy Day from Damsel in Distress, and Love Is Here to Stay from the Golden Follies. Yeah.
I teach a bit in my day job about copyright and what happens whenever things go into like the public domain. And usually what happens with copyright, if you create something, copyright lasts for 70 years. The lifetime of the creator plus 70 years, and then it goes into public domain. It doesn't always happen, but usually a couple of songs actually came into the public domain this year. But very few Gershwin songs are in the public domain, and that is because they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
And like obviously they're part of longer musicals that people are still willing to
Yeah.
pay in order to use them. And I always think that that is a really interesting, trait. If you've been able to create something and people are still willing to pay in order to use
Yeah.
it, then you created something really special.
100%. And like it is cared for and looked after.
Yeah.
Even when after George had passed away, Ira donated his brother's manuscripts to the Library of Congress, ensuring that their music became part of America's national heritage. And I just think that's lovely, and you can go to museums in America and you can see the original.
Yeah, and it created a culture within America that is still going, and people are taking things from it, and there's no better place for those manuscripts to be than in a museum.
But I just thought even at that time,
yeah,
Ira went, no, these are
precious,
special, that they need to be cared for.
Yeah. So I chose 3 songs.
Okay.
Which I suppose personally they're like my favorite. So I haven't said these are the best 3 songs.
Yeah.
But my number 1 is "Summertime" from Porgy and Bess.
Nice.
Which you mentioned. So this haunting jazzy lullaby, and it feels like a hot summer evening.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got some really beautiful voice singing that at you.
Yeah.
It is one of the most covered songs. 30,000 plus versions exist of this song. Like, that's
insane.
Mental.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And if you're the most covered, then you've done something right.
Exactly. And a lesson from this song in particular is opera doesn't have to be stiff or European. It can be soulful, bluesy, and rooted in the American South. Find peace even when times are hard.
Yeah.
So and it's just beautiful, and it flows, and you can just feel like you're lying in a hot weather and listening to that, and yeah, beautiful. I then love "I Got Rhythm" because it's one of those earworm songs, like, and it just makes you feel good, and I think that's a huge part of Gershwin too. The music makes you feel, like, definitely deep emotions.
So it was from Girl Crazy, wasn't it?
Girl Crazy, and then later, obviously, Crazy for You.
Yeah.
So high energy and pure joy. But when Ethel Merman sang this in 1930, she held the high C for 16 bars, and the audience apparently went wild. So how long is 16 bars, Timothy?
It depends what the time signature is, whether there's like 4. So you could have 4 counts to the bar. So what, 16 bars, 16 multiplied by 4.
Whoa.
That would be a very long time, or it could have been 2 to a bar maybe, but it doesn't matter. 16 bars is still a very long time regardless. Yeah. Did you know that the chord progression that is in I've Got Rhythm became the basis for later jazz songs?
Dun,
yeah.
Dun, dun, that bit.
Yeah. Yeah, just the progression of the chords through the song that obviously George came up with then became like the basis for a lot of jazz songs to follow. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So clever.
And this song's all about making sure that you've always got a glass half full. And it's a real masterclass in gratitude. And I suppose it is. Like, it kind of is like, oh, listen, I've got this. I might not have anything else, but I've got rhythm. Like, I've got a roof over my head.
I got rhythm.
Love it.
I got music.
And then one of, like, within my top 3 is They Can't Take That Away From Me. And I think it's one that's like personal for us too. We sang it. But I also, it's from Shall We Dance. It's bittersweet but deeply affectionate, and I think that this one, in my opinion, really encompasses, is that the right word? Both George and Ira, because this was written for Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, and it was nominated for an Academy Award. But the music is sort of like upbeat and jazzy, but whenever you look and really pay attention to the lyrics, it's so bittersweet in the fact that lessons are in your memories.
Yeah.
And even if a relationship ends, it's the small things which will never end.
Yeah.
And you'll always maybe remember the way somebody sips their tea, because that can't be taken
Yeah.
away. Your memories of somebody or a relationship or a friendship or whatever it is can never be taken away.
Yeah.
And you can lose a person, but you can never lose the impact they had on you.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, George, we've never lost that impact.
No, that's it. And like their works then, even after he passed, you know, his works continued to inspire new and revised stage musicals. You've already mentioned like Girl Crazy then inspired Crazy for You that came out in 1992, and then we've obviously spoken about American in Paris, which was 2015, which
Yeah.
proved immensely popular,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Just great.
Amazing. Did you, is that all of your favourite ones
they're
that
my
you
faves,
mentioned?
yeah.
I think it would be amiss of us to talk about George Gershwin and not talk about his Rhapsody in Blue.
Yeah.
Now, I know obviously it's not a musical, but I'm almost sure there's parts of it that appear in some of the musicals. I'm almost sure of it. So Rhapsody in Blue, like, was his jazz piano concerto, where he really showed off his virtuosity,
Yeah.
like this idea of showing off and the ability to improvise and dazzle. And it took America by storm in 1924, establishing his credentials as a serious composer. It subsequently went on to be his most popular work and established Gershwin's signature style and genius in blending vastly different musical styles. So I love it. Like, I could listen to it again and again, because every time you listen to it, you hear something different. Do you know what I mean? So I love that. I also love the fact that he nearly missed his deadline.
Oh.
So this piece of music that became his most iconic work, some would say, he almost forgot to write. And in January 1924, he reportedly learned from a newspaper article that he was meant to be writing a jazz concerto for a program of a new American music to be given by popular dance band leader Paul Whiteman on a month later. So, writing at a manic pace, Gershwin composed a 2-piano version, which was then orchestrated by Whiteman's arranger, Rhapsody in Blue, with Gershwin as a soloist, and it was a triumph, and the day it was hailed as a landmark in American music. But he almost forgot to write it.
That is hilarious.
Isn't that insane? Like,
oh my goodness.
Come on, George. You can't be forgetting things like that.
Wow.
Well, he can.
Probably
If you're George
actually
Gershwin, you can do whatever you want.
that pressure maybe created the masterpiece then.
But isn't that insane? I agree with you. You can't take that away from me. Is also a favourite of mine. But I also love, and they put it into Crazy for You, which, as you know, I love that musical. Embraceable You. Embrace me.
Yeah.
My sweet embraceable
And
you.
there's such a distinct sound and feel to it that, like, no matter what song you're gonna go, oh yeah, I like that too. Oh yeah, that's cute. Oh, that's nice. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Have you seen American in Paris?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. We went to the theatre because they did a pro shot of it, didn't they, with our friend Zoe in it? And we all went together, didn't we? Yeah, it was a landmark film too that revolutionised movie musicals by elevating dance to a central artistic storytelling device, highlighted by the 17-minute climatic ballet. Now, I wouldn't be a big fan of a 17-minute climatic ballet, but I enjoyed the American in Paris one. It became I didn't realise this, it became only the second coloured film to win an Academy Award for Best Picture.
Oh.
And it redefined the genre, showcasing obviously Gene Kelly's innovative choreography, but the lush Technicolor was setting a new standard of artistic and high-budget studio production.
Yeah.
So there we go.
I mean, I really enjoyed that we spotlight, and
so did I.
Sort of getting to look into somebody's background, and like, though his life was cut very short, 38 is
Yeah.
no age at all.
It's crazy.
But yeah, like he really did leave such a major impact in the world
Yeah.
of musical theatre, and it is lovely that people are still singing his songs. You know, they're part of people's audition pieces,
That's it.
their showcases, everything, and there's musicals there which are created because of his wonderful works.
Yeah. Do you know that he bought the original taxi horns
What?
used in an American in Paris from a series of car dealerships in
No
Paris?
way.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of cool.
That's
And
good.
he also designed his own writing desk for composing and had it built to his specifications. It has special drawers, inkwell, and even a built-in pencil sharpener. Imagine back then thinking to build in your own
Very
pencil sharpener. It sits today in the Gershwin room, open to the public in the Library of Congress.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that would be cool to go and see.
I know what
actually.
you. Yeah, I know. I can
Yeah.
read you like a book. You're going. Well, that would be a reason for like having a little trip.
100%.
Do you know how many copies of Swanee sold?
2 million.
Yeah. Did you say it already? Sorry, my bad.
But
Yeah.
even then, that's like humongous. 2
Yeah.
million. Like crazy.
Mental. Listen, folks, you should go away and delve a wee bit deeper into
Yeah.
George Gershwin, because honestly, when we say we've only like scratched the surface
Yeah, I
of
mean,
this person,
It's
like it is
important that we don't like talk for hours and hours and hours.
No,
we're not
that's
a historical
boring.
podcast either, but we just
No.
want to kind of look at these people and share some knowledge and
Yeah.
information and learning from them. But yeah, there is so much more. And if you maybe are thinking, I only know like 1 or 2
Yeah.
Gershwin songs, I bet you know more. You
Yeah.
probably just don't realize they're Gershwin
Well-
until you listen to it and go, of course that's Gershwin.
Before we leave, quick recap, back and forward like a tennis match.
Oh my gosh.
What Gershwin music should they go and listen to now? 1.
Like musical.
No, just tracks.
Oh,
So
well,
give them, I know you've
Okay.
mentioned them, but to recap and
Okay.
conclude at the end of the episode, what would you go for?
Summertime.
Embraceable You,
It's wonderful.
Rhapsody in Blue.
I got rhythm.
Can't take that away from me. There you go.
Yeah, perfect.
That's your starting point,
Yeah.
folks. And then from there,
Yeah. Well,
your listening platforms will then send you the right direction.
That's right.
But there's a couple of
Absolutely.
starting points. But yeah, so that was nice.
I love that. That was
So did
great.
I.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. It's wonderful. It's marvelous
Love it. Love it.
that you should care for me.
Now we just have to think of what we're going to do next.
You're not going to sing back to me. I mean, I've just
Oh, sorry.
literally serenaded you.
It's wonderful.
No, you can't sing the same song as me. Embrace me, my sweet embraceable you.
Like you serenading me.
Embrace me, I want my arms around you. Don't be a naughty baby, come to Timmy do. That's only because in Crazy for You she sings, come to Polly do. Have we done?
Yes.
Oh, we have. We have done Crazy for You. I'm devastated. Can we just redo it? I love that music. I'm away to listen to it now. Thanks, Gershwin.
Yeah.
You see, what a class
I
act.
know.
Right?
That was us.
Normal. What is it? Normal
Proceedings
resume.
Yeah. But that was fun.
Yeah, it was
We'll
fun.
definitely be doing more spotlights. And if you've got any suggestions of maybe people that you'd be interested in learning more about, we can certainly add them to the list.
Did anybody come back to you about the
Yes, we had Audrey and
Seymour for the
Seymour,
romantic
and
Valentine?
We had I've forgotten off the top of my head. Oh yeah, I shared them all on our stories.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I so watched them. Sorry. All right. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Tune in as memories grow.